On your table, you should have a brush that looks like this, the red one, that's long. So you're literally going to wet your canvas, okay? Now what this does is actually makes it easier for you to paint, okay? You're gonna basically priming your canvas, okay? Dip a little bit more water. You're just gonna wet your whole canvas. You can get the sides if you want to. Make it a little bit easier. And your canvas should be glistening at this point with water. Not drenched, just glistening. Okay? So while that's drying, you can put this brush aside. And you're going to grab this lovely white brush right here. Looks like this. Okay? Then you're going to get as much water as you can off of it. It should be still a little bit moist. Okay? It should be nice and even. So what we're going to do is, we're going to take a little bit of our white on half of the brush and a little bit of our blue. So it look like this, half and half. And you're literally just going the same motion that you used to wet your canvas. You're going to use that same up and down motion to start creating your background. Now, if blue is not your favorite color, and maybe you want to do a different color background, you take the color that you want, you do half white, and half of the other color. So if you want to do yellow, you can do yellow. If you want to do red, you can do red. It's your canvas, so be as creative as you want to be. Once again, grab some of your white, just a little bit, your blue. You're going to do the whole canvas just like this. So this is your background. You see these little streaks here? If it gets like that, you dip your brush a little bit in the water to help spread the paint. Because you don't need a lot of paint. And this is how you blend. Once again, if it seems like your brush is getting dry, you just dip it a little bit in the water, quickly pull it out, and apply it to your canvas. anything that doesn't look well blended in, just dab your paintbrush in a little bit of water and just go back over it. Now, because my favorite color is purple, I'm going to actually add a little bit of, on the same brush, a little bit of red, a little bit of white. Same thing. And go over it, okay? A little bit of water. Take a little bit of the blue. A little bit more white. Dip your brush in the water if it starts to get dry. A little bit more blue, a little bit more white. Once again. Dip your brush. It's not lagging. Because you want the color to blend in. A little bit more water. Water is your friend, okay? It helps it go along much smoother if you feel your brush is getting dry. So about almost half, a little bit under half of your canvas should be a blended color of the blue, white, and the red. So you'll have a nice little pink strip right here. Okay, just want to blend it in. Okay, so while your canvas is drying, what you're going to do is you're going to take some of that blue and that white, half once again. And you're going to get the edges of your canvas. Okay, the same motion. You're just going to get the edge. Once again, if it seems a little dry, dip it in the paint. It's going to help it smooth out so pristinely on the canvas. And you're going to do the same with the top of the canvas. A little bit of white, a little bit of blue. You're going to do the same thing on the other side of the canvas to cover up all of the white that is showing on the sides. A little bit of blue, a little bit of white, half. And a little bit of water to help it flow much more smoothly when you paint. If you see that you've messed up the top a little bit along here, and it seems as if it's going in a different direction because you were trying to get paint to cover the top of the canvas, just grab a little bit of water and blend it in. Okay, so now you're just going to let your canvas dry. Okay, so for the next step is the jar. So you're going to get your smallest brush, this pretty little purple one here. You're going to dip it, the tip of it, in your white paint. You don't need a lot, okay? And you're literally going to start at the pink, the beautiful pink that we created. You're going to go up about a hand length up where your thumb should be at, about right here. And you're going to create a line. This is going to be the beginning of your mason jar. So, you're going to literally just go across a thin little line. Okay? Thin little line. And you should have at least almost 3 fingers worth of space on the other side, okay? So once again, you're going to create a thin little line for your mason jar with the white, okay? Next step, you're going to create a little hump, okay? Little half circle, little curve on both sides, okay? With the same paint. And you're going to do 3 of those, okay? Not too big. It's another little curve. Okay? And 1 more. Okay? Once you have those 3 little curves, the little ridges, you're going to make another curve going out, just like that, and going down. Okay? Once again, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're going to make a little curve coming out and going down. Okay? If you start to run out of paint with the white, it's okay. Because the more clear it is, the better your glass is going to be. So don't even worry about it, okay? Once you get done with this step, you're going to take your white again, and you're going to go across. You're not going to make a direct line. You're going to curve down, okay? Remember, this is a jar, so we screw the top on, right? It's never quite even. So you're just going to go at the very top of here. Maybe I can see that. You're literally just going to go down and curve up. Remember, I told you don't worry if you run out of paint. It's okay. Okay? Don't worry. Okay. The next step will be getting with the same white brush, you're going to go and get some of your black paint. Okay? And you're literally just going to go on the inside of the white, beautiful lines you just created, those ridges. You're literally just going to outline them on the inside of the jar, okay? And only on this one side, only on your right side, okay? just on your right. Don't worry if the black blends in with your white, okay? You want to make sure you keep that white line. You're just going right beside it, okay? On the inside of the jar. Okay? Now you're going to clean your brush off. Make sure it's nice and clean. You don't want any residue on it. Now, we're going to create our flowers. So what you're going to do is, you're going to, actually let's change our brush. We're going to change our brush out to the black one, okay? This is going to help us create our flowers, okay? So you're going to take your white, the tip of your white brush, and you're going to start, if you put your finger at the top of the canvas, about an inch down, you're going to start your flower, okay? So if you see my finger, an inch down. So we're basically going to create, I call it the light bulb, okay? It's just circular. So press down. And paint it in. It's really simple. Press down, curve up. You can call it the light bulb or the teardrop, okay? And you're going to do the same thing again. And you're going to create another one, another little teardrop. Okay? Now, it can be as big or as small as you want. It just depends on how many flowers you want. In this picture, it's going to be 3. Okay? And you want to create about 6 to 7 petals. Okay? Once again, curve, okay, to create your teardrop. Okay? So count them out. So right now we have 3. We might add more to make it more fuller, so be prepared. Once again, curve down, curve down. And if they seem like they're uneven, you can go back through to make them even, okay? So, you see how it's getting full? So with this, we're going to do like half petals, okay? So you're only going to do half of a teardrop. So right here, you're going to go at the very tip, curve down, and that's it, okay? It's looking a little full on this side, so let's add one here, okay? At the very top of where we began. You're going to do, once again, you're going to curve up and curve down, okay? Because we need to make a proportion. We want it to look full, but to be proportioned. Okay? And once again, you can go over it to make the flower as big as you want to, or as little as you want to. Okay? Once again, you just curve down. Okay? I'm just making mine a little bit longer. Told you guys we need to make it proportioned. Okay? Okay, we have one flower. If you feel like your brush is getting clunky with paint, just dip it in the water a little bit and go right back into your white, okay? For the next flower, we're going to come down. It's going to be 3 flowers. So it's one right here, there's going to be one right here, and one right here. Okay? For the next flower, we're going to once again start. So if you have your hand, it should be about, it should start right here. Okay? If you put your hand right next to the jar, it should start right here. Okay? So once again, we're going to make these teardrops. So, curve down, your teardrop. Okay? Let's fill that in. Gonna do another one. Get a little bit more paint so you can make it thicker, so you can see the lines, and the lines can be defined. Once again, curve down, okay? You have your little teardrop. We're gonna do about, we could try to do 6 again, or we could do 5. It's up to you. Once again, curve down, teardrop. Okay? Gonna do it again. Curve down. Don't worry if it seems like it's overlapping. Petals do overlap, you guys. Okay? Don't get scared. Now you see how it's getting full? So that means we're gonna have to start doing half petals. So let's start on this side where we began. So half petals, so just curve down. Okay, and fill it in. Just like that. We're gonna make another half petal. So curve down and fill it on in. Okay? Okay, now we have that flower. Now, we're gonna do one more flower. Once again, I told you guys, if your brush seems like it's getting clumpy, just wet a little bit and go right back into your white paint. Okay? Now this last flower is going to have about 4 petals, okay? So on this one we did about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We did 6 petals on here. So the last one is going to be about 2 fingers up. You put your fingers right by the jar. 2 fingers up is where we're going to start. Okay? Now this is going to be half off of the canvas. A little bit. So we're going to be about right here. Okay? So we're going to start. So, once again, teardrops. So curve. Okay? And fill it in. Another one. It's going to overlap, you guys. Curve. Teardrops. Curve down. Okay, so we're going to add another one, okay? So we're going to start from our third. It looks a little crazy right now, but when you put the little middle part is going to come across really clear, okay? So once again, we're making our teardrops. Down, curve. Okay? Okay? Once again, if your brush gets clumpy, put it, dip it in the water and go right back to your white paint. Now what I'm going to do is just literally make these a little bit longer. Make them proportioned out a little bit more. Okay? Okay? And now we're going to dip our brushes. We're going to clean our brushes off in the water. Okay? And we're going to let this dry. We want it to dry because we're going to start adding the definition to make them look more realistic. And we're going to actually add the middle, okay? So take a moment so it can dry. Okay, so we are back. So we will be creating a beautiful orange. So we have our primary colors that are on the table, okay? We have yellow, we have red, and we have blue. Those are our primaries. With these 3 colors, you can create every color on the color wheel that should be on your table for you guys to utilize as well. So to create an orange, we're going to use red and yellow, okay? You're going to take more yellow than you're going to do red. So you're just going to take a dollop of the yellow. Don't worry about it getting mixed up with the red because we're not really going to be using yellow other than for this little time period. And then You're going to take your red and you're going to mix it in, okay? You want to get a orange that's a little bit more golden, okay? So we're going to mix them up, which means we're going to need to get more yellow than red to make a little bit more of a golden orange to go in the middle of our flowers, okay? So once you have the orange that you like, the hue that you like, okay, you're going to grab a little bit of white, okay? So I ran out of a little bit of white. So I'm going to add some more. Once again, you don't need a lot. A little paint goes a very long way. Okay? I'm not going to grab too much white, just enough. Nice little hefty amount. And get it right onto the beautiful orange that you just created, okay? You want it to look a little bit pale, okay? And don't mix all of your orange in there. I'm going to tell you why once we start on our middles, okay? Because you're going to want these beautiful, different beautiful hues of the orange, okay? So once you're done mixing it, you're going to get as much paint as you can off of your brush. And then this brush goes away. Put that right in the water, okay? And we're going to pull out this beautiful purple brush, but it's not the one that we used before. This is the very, very, very little one, the very petite one, it looks almost like it's like one strand of a brush, okay? We're going to use that one. What you're going to do is, you're going to dip your brush into this beautiful orange that we just created, okay? Get up just a little bit on there, okay? If you can see that. And then we're literally just going to dab, okay? Literally. Just dab. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm going to put it on the white. We're just going to dab a circle, literally. Just dab a circle, okay? And because this brush is so little, you don't have to worry about it getting chaotic or we're putting too much of it on the canvas. So let me take the canvas off so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay? It's going to look just like that. You're literally just going to dab. Okay? Make a little bit of a hump, little circle there, because that's going to be the middle of our flower. Okay? Just like that. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing to all 3 flowers. Okay? So what you can do is you can literally just start making a circle with your dabs, little dot circle, and just fill it in. Okay? Now remember when I told you guys earlier, don't use all of your beautiful orange. Okay, this is why. We're going to actually use the outside of the color that you created to add different hues to this beautiful, the middle of the beautiful flower. So you're going to take the little orange, see the little crescent of orange right here that you created? Looks like it could be a little bit red. You're going to take that, dip your brush, and you're going to literally create the same little dots. Okay? In the flower. It's going to give it definition. Okay? Like that. You're going to do the same thing with the rest of your flowers. Until it's nice and full. Now you can do as many of the little dots as you want, or if you can do a lot, you can do a little bit. It's up to you. Then you're gonna dip your brush into the white, okay? And you're gonna do it. You're gonna put just a little bit of white dots in your flower. Just a little bit, not a lot. If you feel like you put too many white dots, go back to the beautiful light orange. And cover those white dots up if you think you did too many. When you guys get done with that portion, okay? Actually, I want to make this a little bit bigger. Don't be afraid to make the circle a little bit bigger or smaller, depending on how big you want the circle, the middle of your flower to be. I want mine to be just a little bit bigger so you can really see the boldness of it. Okay, so for the next step, we're going to be utilizing our black. Okay? So with that same mini brush, okay, you're going to get some black on your brush, okay? Don't worry if you make a mistake, okay? Artists make mistakes all the time. We are all artists in our own version of artists. So, if you make a mistake, you can always go over it with the white. But the trick is, if you make a mistake, you let it dry, then you go over it with white. If not, it's just going to make a big, blurry, gray mess, okay? So, what we're going to do is, we're going to make creases in the flowers to define the petals, okay? So, what we're going to do is, we'll start with our second flower. This is the second flower we made. So, what we're going to do is, you're literally just going to make stripes. So, I'm going to show you the first one. So, at the very edge of it, you're going to just make a little line. Joy. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see, but literally, it's just a little outline. You're literally just outlining it, okay? Then we're going to make another. Look, see, I messed up a little bit. It's okay. 2 little stripes, okay? Another little stripe. Okay? Don't worry about messing up. See, I'm messing up. It's okay. Okay? This is literally just going to help to define each petal. Okay? Once again, if you mess up, you can go over with the white. That's the beautiful thing about white, is you go over anything. Okay? So that's what we're literally going to do. Okay? It's just going to help define the petal. If your brush gets a little clunky, dip it a little bit in the water, okay? And it'll help it be painted on smooth, okay? We're going to do the same thing again here. Making the strips, making the little stripes, okay? Just to help them define the petal. If you run out of black, just dab it into the black a little bit, and you're good to go. Okay? It's just to help it define the petal. So we can know where each petal kind of is, okay? Now, the next step, once you've gotten your petals to help define a flower like this, you're going to dip that same brush in the blue. And you're only going to pick selective ones. So maybe you want to do every other line. You're just going to, maybe you want to pick every other line. So you're literally just going to dip it in the blue, outline that black. Give a little bit of a dramatic flair. See, I'm picking almost every other line, just to spread it out. So, you should have been able to add your blue lines. I'll bring it closer to you. To add your blue lines along with the black. So now, you're going to dip back into your black. And you're going to bring some of those beautiful lines that we created up here. Like to create the outline of a petal. You're literally going to do that on the petal. So you're just going to literally outline it down a little bit. Create the curve. And just leave it like that. Don't close it. Just creating the curve. Okay? I'm going to do it nice and up close. Okay? Okay? Look, you got your flower. We're going to do this to all of the petals, okay? We'll start with our black. Once again, if your paint seems a little clumpy, do not be afraid to dip your brush just a little bit in your water, okay? Remember, we're trying to find the outline of our flowers. Okay? And I told you guys, don't worry if you mess up. That's what the white is for. We can cover it, okay? Okay, once you get done with your black, we dip it in the blue to give it the highlight. And we just go along some of the black, okay? You don't want too much blue, but you want just enough so you can see it. It can highlight the black. It complements it. Okay, we're done with the second flower. So now we're going to be moving on to the third and final flower. Remember, if you messed up on anything, you can always go over it with the white. Wait for it to dry, and then start again, okay? Okay. Now we're going to use the same exact method on the third flower that we used on flower number 2 and 1. Okay. Once again, if your brush gets clumpy, wash it off in the water a little bit. Grab a napkin, dry it a little bit, and apply some fresh paint, okay? Any mistakes can be corrected, okay? This is not final. Okay, add a couple more stripes of black here. And now we move on to our blue highlights. Once again, you just Adding it along side the black, okay? If you're not seeing the blue come up so strong, then clean your brush off of the black and dive into the blue, okay? See, like now this flower, I messed up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, when I get done applying the blue, I'm going to clean my brush off. And I'm going to go back in once it dries and fix my mistakes, okay? Yeah, so any mistakes that you see you might have done, you can easily fix. Whether you want to make your lines a little bit more clearer in the black, or you don't want them to be as big. You can just go over them with the white, let it dry, and then come back. Okay, after you've fixed all of your corrections, we're actually going to move on to creating our green, our dark green for the stems. So, dark green, to create the color green, is to mix yellow and blue together. You're going to want an even amount of each to make the color green, okay? So if you are done making corrections, you can start mixing the colors blue and yellow to create green. Once you've mixed your blue and yellow to make green, you're going to actually add a little dollop of black to the color green that you created to get it as dark as you can. You want like a nice forest green. Okay, it's almost going to look black, but you should be able to see the greenness of it. Okay, to get a nice dark green. So once again, you're going to mix blue and yellow together and even them out to create your green. Once you get your green color, you're going to add a nice little dollop of black to create a forest green, okay? And then we will start to make our stems for the flowers. So, let's start with flower number 2, okay? You're going to find the angle that you want because your stems are going to be going in here, okay? So my angle would be about right here. Okay, so put a little, see that? So you're going to put a little marker here so that you know where your stem is going to go, okay? Once you know where you want your stem, you're going to curve it Okay? Don't be afraid to go through. Okay? If you run out of paint, don't worry. Just dip back. And then you're going to actually turn your brush to the side so that it becomes a little skinnier going down. And now you have your first stem. Okay. Now we're going to go on to stem number 2, which is going to be for flower number 1. Okay, so once again, you're going to create where you want your stem to be. Right? You're going to create where you want your stem to be. Okay? And then you're just going to pull down. Okay? Now you don't want the line to be too thick, just thick enough. Okay, and now we're going to create our last stem. If it looks a little thick, don't worry about it, because we're going to have other little stems coming forth too, okay? So don't worry about it. If it looks a little messy here, a little messy here, we'll fix that, okay? So we're going to once again make a little marker. So my marker is going to be right here. Right here, okay? You're just going to pull down, okay? Once you've done that step, you're going to clean your brush off, and you're going to get the other skinny mini brush that we've used before. Make sure it's cleaned off. Remember this little brush, this little guy? You're going to use this brush, and you're going to use the same green paint. And you're literally going to make little lines. They don't have to be perfect, okay? Little squiggly lines. Nice little squiggly lines that almost look like branches. And you're going to do this. You can make it as full or as light as you want with these. If you don't want a lot of them, you don't have to do a lot of them. Okay, once you think that you have enough branches going and spreading across the page, once you think you have enough, we're going to clean that brush off that we just used. Make sure you get all of the paint off because you're about to dabble back into white, okay? And you do not want any of the black paint on the white. You're gonna dip the brush you've been using into the white in the same exact way that we created these pretty little dots in the middle of our flowers. You're gonna make those very same dots on some of the branches, okay? So we can start at the top left corner. Bring it closer to you guys, you can see. We're gonna start at this corner, okay? And we're literally just going to that's it. Literally, that's it. And you're gonna do as many of these as you want in little areas, okay? To make little flowers. Okay? Now you're gonna fill this whole thing up with these all along the branches that you need, okay? In different little spots. Now the tip of each of your branches should be covered in the little white balls. You see how this is? Bring it closer. It should be covered. Each of your tips should be covered in the little white flurries, okay? You're going to do that on all of these stems we created. So the top should be covered. Okay, so we're going to leave these ones right here. That's closest to the jar. Leave these bare, okay? You can do the white flowers going up, but leave these at least an inch clear, okay? And remember, you can make as much as you want or as little as you want. Okay. Okay, so if you are all done with making your flurries on these beautiful branches that we've created, we're going to go to the next step. Okay, so you see how we have our ridges for our jar. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the first little ridge, and we're going to go across and connect it to our other ridge, okay? This is going to create our opening for the jar, okay? Okay, you're gonna round that out a little bit. Okay? Well, we got an opening for a jar, you guys. Okay. So after you rounded out the opening for the jar, you're gonna take your white and you're gonna go and create the ridges, okay? Which are smaller, thinner lines, okay? So you're gonna create a thin line to connect it to the other ridge, okay? Just like that. You're gonna do it with all of the ridges we created, which were 3, okay? If you feel like you need to use a smaller brush, use our baby brush compared to this one, okay? The same color brush, just a smaller one. If you feel like you're gonna make a mistake, you just wanna use a smaller one to be more, assured, okay? Now we have our opening, okay? And we have our ridges. So now we're gonna go across for this other ridge that has the flowers in front. We're gonna put them behind. So we're gonna do that by tracing over it with that line, okay? Just like this. And voila. We have flowers in a jar, okay? Our next step, we're gonna need some blue, okay? So, we're going to take our white, dip it a little bit in our blue, just to get a little bit on our brush. Just get a little bit on our brush. Just a little bit of blue, not a lot, just a little bit, okay? And we are going to dip it in the water. A quick dabble, quick dip, pull out. Quick dip, pull out. And you're gonna go and create streaks, okay? On both sides. Okay? This is gonna give the illusion of a glass, okay? You want to try to space it out, okay? A little bit of the blue. Okay. Just get a little bit more of the blue. Just a little bit more of the blue. Okay. A little bit more of the white. Grab some more of the white. You're just gonna create little streaks, okay? Of just the white. Little streaks. Little streaks, just like that. I'm gonna rub it in a little bit. Bring it down. Just creating glass illusion. Okay? Now, if you don't want to, you don't have to, but I am going to create some water. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to do this step. If you like it just with just the flowers and the glass without the water, you can do that. We don't have to do water, okay? If you don't want to do water, we don't have to do water. But I want to do water on mine. It's up to you what you guys want to do, okay? Creative expression, okay? So if you want to create water, you are literally going to start about here with blue, okay? Use the same brush that has the white and the blue on it. You're going to dip it back in blue just a little bit, not a lot. See, I don't have a lot. You're going to decide where you want your water, and you're going to create not a straight line, but a curve, okay? You're going to dip it back in blue, just a little bit, okay? And you're going to create another curve, okay? But you're going to go through, you're not going to go over the stems. You're going to go through, you're going to go between them, okay? So let me bring it closer. You're going to go between them, okay? Like this. And connect it. Remember, it does not have to be perfect. Water is never still. It moves. It does not have to be perfect, okay? You just want to make sure that you have it so you can see the level. Okay? And then you're going to outline the white with the blue. If you need some more blue, dip your paintbrush back in there, pull some more blue. Okay? Then you're going to dip it into the white. And you're going to outline that blue. Okay? On both sides. And then you're going to color it in between the stems, okay? So it'll be a different texture compared to the glass, okay? So a little bit of that white, a little bit of that blue. White, blue. And you're gonna go back and forth in the opposite direction you were going before, okay? You're gonna go in between the stems, okay? Because you want the stems to show in the water. If your brush is feeling a little dry, dip it in the water a little bit. And now, once you've wet your brush a little bit, once you dipped your brush in, now you can paint over those stems, okay? You just want it to be faint. You don't want it to be strong. You don't want it to be overly strong when you paint over them, okay? Because you want to be able to see it through the water. If you feel like your line has disappeared a little bit, dip it back in that blue and create your faint line again, okay? And now you have your water. White. Okay. Now you're going to clean your brush off.